Good morning, everybody. This is probably a pretty normal Monday morning for me. I want to get to the woods. I'm refreshed from a day off and I'm ready to go to work. And the horses have had either 1 or 2 days off, depending on the week. A lot of times I work Saturdays, but they always get Sundays off. And when they do, they get some time out in the pasture or the barnyard. And more often than not, they like to go roll in the mud. And that is definitely what they did this past weekend. So now I have a lot of extra work to do. If you see, lady, I know it's dark in here, but she just coated in mud. Bill is even worse. I don't know if you can see him. But even around his halter, it's just a mess. So we'll get to brushing them, and get them ready to go to the woods today.
This mud is really caked on, and it's going to take a lot of elbow grease to get it cleaned off good. Got to really push hard on the curry comb and to get this dirt off of him. If it was summertime and a little bit warmer, it would be good to take these two out and take the hose to them and wash this mud off. Although with it dry and caked on like it is today, it really wouldn't come off that good even with the water hose. If it was done when it was fresh and kind of a wet mud, it would wash off better, of course. But now that it's dried on, it just takes a lot of work to get it off this way, but even the water hose wouldn't work that super great. I am also not a big one to wash my horses like that. I'm not sure if doing it on a regular basis is even really good. It just tends to take out their natural oils, and a lot of horses that are washed every day have more of a dull coat. They just don't get that shiny coat that you get from just good hard brushing. That seems to make a nice shiny coat. Like the old saying goes, a good brushing is worth an extra quarter grain. I've said this in other videos, when they get this dirty, it takes several brushings to really get them clean again. Today I'll just get the bulk of it off and then we'll go to work, but it will take a couple days to get them really clean. The other day I clipped these horses' manes, and I want to just go back to that day and show you a type of a twitch that I use once in a while when I have to on these horses that has worked good for me. For those of you that don't know what a twitch is, it's just a type of restraint that we use sometimes with horses just to help them to forget what we're doing to them. It sounds bad, but it really is humane and a necessary part of dealing with animals. So I'd like to talk a little bit about a type of a twitch that I like to use that I feel is very humane and yet seems to work quite well, at least for me. What I do sometimes is actually grab the ear and twist it. I'm sure many people have done this before, but maybe there's some out there that haven't. It seems to work pretty good. I'm clipping Bill's mane today, and generally he is good as far as clipping. I'm not quite sure why, but today he really isn't doing very good. Now, just because he's having a bad day, I'm not going to use a twitch on him to get him to stand good. I'm just going to try to be patient and see if I get him back to where he used to be. But last winter I had some problems with his collar, and he actually got a little sore underneath the collar, and I didn't realize it. And so that was a spot that really hurt when I used the clippers on it. So it was so bad that he really gave me a fight. So by grabbing his ear and twisting it, he stood right there and allowed me to clip that part of his mane, and we got the job done. But what seems to happen now, even though it's completely healed over, he just remembers that, and he still does not like it when I'm clipping around that spot. So I still, even now, at times, grab his ear and give it a little bit of a twist and hold it while I'm clipping that spot. It's important not to do it more than you have to, and as soon as they get over it, release the ear so that you're not putting more pressure on him than you have to do. But it does seem to work pretty good as long as you're careful. So here's Lady, it's her turn, and she stands great, and I can just clip right down through quick. I can be done in no time. So now I have to get this mud off of Lady. I like these cheap little plastic curry cones, and when I'm done currying, I will take the brush and brush over them also, but when I'm currying, I will just, when they're dirty like this, spin my hand all around in all different angles to get the dirt out. I don't just go the way the hair is supposed to be laying down. I go all different ways to get the dirt out. When I'm done with a good rubbing, then I will rub the way the hair is supposed to go, and then when I brush, of course, I brush the way the hair is supposed to go to keep it in place. Here's another thing that happens this time of year when I let these horses out to pasture. I have a couple of spots out in the pasture where there's some burdock. And wouldn't you know, they've got to get into that burdock and get burdock all over their legs. So when they come in, I have to take the time and pull all the burdock out of their fetlocks here, and it's sometimes a bit of a process. There's probably different ways to do this, but I found that just going in with my fingers and pulling them out individually just seems to work the best. But if you have other great ideas, I'd love to know about them. Put them in the comments below. It's also important to try to get them out when they just go in, because they come out a lot easier. If they stay there for a few days, they just seem to get worse and worse and harder to pull out of there. Another kind of interesting thing about my horses is when I kick my horses out, Lady and Bill always go out together, and one either in the barnyard or in the pasture, and same with Buck and Ken. They stay together. There's no burdock in my barnyard, but in the pasture there is, so I kind of alternate them every other day into the different spots. Well, it seems like when they're in the pasture, Lady never gets in the burdock, but Bill does. When the blacks are in the pasture, Ken never gets in the burdock, but Buck always does. It's just funny that way. So since I'm going to the woods today with Lady and Bill, Ken and Buck won't be working today, so they will go out to pasture. So here I'll just let them out. My halters always come off when I go out to pasture. I have kind of a sad story about that situation. Many years ago I had a Belgian horse also named Buck, and I had actually just come home from a horse pull over the weekend, and they had actually won the horse pull, so I was feeling pretty great about that, and I had kicked them out to pasture, and I was not letting halters off at that time. I left the halters on, and didn't something happen that night, and he got his hind foot caught in his halter, and we don't know for sure what happened, but he either had a heart attack or broke his neck, and he was dead the next morning, so that was quite sad. And to make matters worse, I had asked Trudy, our daughter, to go get the horses that morning, so she was the one that found him. But anyways, we're not going to dwell on the sad things in our lives. We're going to look at the great things. So I hope you all have a great day.